Barakatah Yahweh Malakawalam. That is, blessed are you, Yah, King, everlasting King of this universe. Creator of the heavens and the earth and the sea and all that in them is. The almighty Elohim of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We come to you now, Abba Yah, on this set apart day, humbled, Abba Yah, and just giving you all praise, honor, and esteem. Giving you thanks, Todah Rabbah Abba, for blessing and keeping us through the week, blessing and keeping us always, and bringing us, Abba Yah, to another Shabbat day. We can forget all our worries and cares and concerns, Abba Yah, and just focus on you. Bask and enjoy this set apart day which you commanded to us, Abba Yah. We thank you, Abba Yah, for your loving kindness, your mercy, your grace. We thank you, Abba Yah, for sustaining us, blessing us with everything we could possibly need. Food, shelter, clothing, health, a sound mind, shalom, Todah Rabbah Abba. And we thank you, Todah Rabbah Abba, for your healing hands, Abba Yah, touching and restoring those that are afflicted, those that were afflicted, Abba Yah, and continuing to bring those that are still afflicted with any type of illness, Abba Yah, whether that be of the body or the ruach. Continue to heal us, continue to bring us back to good health, Abba Yah. And we thank you for the praise reports of the blessings that you've already bestowed, Abba Yah. And we have faith, Abba Yah, that you will continue to honor the covenant that you made between us and our forefathers. And we ask right now, Abba Yah, as we go into the Shabbat lessons, the cultural portion, the 2-minute warning portion, that you bless us with your Ruach HaKodesh, Abba Yah, that leads us in the truth, that you can bless us, Abba Yah, with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And we ask, Abba Yah, that you put your hedge of protection around all of us that are coming together on your Shabbat day, Abba Yah, as you commanded, no matter where we are scattered to the four corners of this earth. Put your hedge of protection around us, Abba Yah. Give us all shalom. Feed us our heritage, Abba Yah, that you blessed us with. In all things, Abba Yah, Tob and Ra, good and bad in every situation. Todah Rabbah, thank you so much. Blessed are you, Yahweh. Blessed is your name, Yahweh, and blessed is he that comes in your name, Yahweh. Halal Yah, Amen. All right, Shabbat Shalom again, Mishpachah. We're going to get started in the cultural portion of the service. And we are continuing in the series we call Walking in All His Ways. And as part of our custom here at True Light by Yah Assembly, we normally begin with this cultural Yisrael to deal with our culture, our way of life. And if you keep in count, this is part 5 in that series. And we're going to pick up at verse 8, the commandment and statutes of Shabbat. And more than likely, we'll not get through the next 4 verses today on this Shabbat. But up to this point, we understand from verses 1 through 7, we understand this is how we love the Most High Yah. Yahweh or Yahuwah or Yehovah or simply Yah is his name. And Yah is whose ways we are to walk in. And essentially, it's our righteousness. Walking in all his ways is our righteousness. And as we've been taught that this is the first and greatest commandment, to love the Most High Yah with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our might, is the first and greatest commandment. And we saw that in verses 1 through 7. So now we're picking up in verse 8. And before we dig in to this fourth commandment, kind of a pop quiz here. No real grade, but kind of a pop quiz here. Can somebody open up their mic? Just open up your mic, and if you can recall, tell us what the Most High requires of Yisrael. Remember, in parts 1, 2, 3, and 4, we've stated and restated that the Most High requires something of Yisrael. He has requirements of Yisrael. So if somebody can just open up their mic and state the requirement for Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Fear Yah. Fear Yah is one. Walk in all his ways. To love him. To serve him with all our heart and soul. And to keep his commandments and his statutes. Ayo.
Hallelujah. Todah Rabbah. Todah Rabbah. You hit them all right in order. And then at the end of that commandments, it's for our good. We got to remember that. These requirements are for our good. All right. Hallelujah. Todah Rabbah, don't. So now let's pick up at verse 8. Let me share screen here. And let me know if y'all can see that. Can y'all see my screen? Is it big enough?
Okay.
All right, so we're going to pick up in Shemot, or Exodus chapter 20, starting at verse 8 on this Shabbat, in the 5th part of the series, walking in all his ways. And like I said last Shabbat, you Talmudini Brit, you students of the Hebrew, you're going to read. Well, I'm going to ask you to read. All right, so up first, verses 8 and 9, is Nathan on? I think I saw him come in.
Yes.
Nathan Khan, Shabbat Shalom. If you will, take verses 8 and 9, and then right after verse 9, Akoti Talia Shion.
Yes, I'm on.
All right, if you will, take verse 10, and then right after that, Bati Mabat Zion, if you'll take verse 11, and then we'll begin. So Aki Nathan, if you will, read verses 8 and 9 in the Hebrew.
Zaqan, which is remember. Et Yom Hashabat La I don't know the second one.
All right, La Quada Show.
Quada Show. Shet Yami Taya Hayavod.
Mhm.
Wa Sita
Con.
Kal Ma Mala Ma. Is that a vet? A vet?
Zaqan.
Okay. Mala Ka Teka.
Hallelujah. Toda Rabah. And
Hold on.
just so y'all know, man, Nathan is the youngest student in the Hebrew language class, and he done a Gadol Tov job right there. Hallelujah. Toda Rabah, Nathan. Toda Rabah. Tov job. All right. Koti Talia, if you take verse 10.
Okay. Wayam Hashabahi Behi Shama. I'm sorry. Shabbat La Yahuwah Eloheka Lo Te Hase Kal Malaka Ata Uv Neka Uv Teka Avdeka Wa Ameta Uv Ha Meta. I'm sorry. Huv Ha Meteka Wagarika Asher Besh Ereka.
Hallelujah. Toda Rabah. Batizion, verse 11. Babakshah.
Ki Sheshet Yamim Asa Yahweh et Hashamayim wa et Haaretz et Hayam wa et Kal Asher Bam wa Yanak Bayom Hashabi'i al Cain Barak Yahweh et Yom HaShabbat Wayakadashu. Wayakadashu.
Hallelujah. Toda Rabah. Toda Rabah. Toda Rabah. Talmudini Bri. Told me old job. So let's go back to verse 8 and we'll get started. And remember, this is the Most High Yah speaking to the whole congregation of Israel with his own voice. And then according to Psalms, he hasn't dealt so with any nation like this, right? Keep that in mind. We're talking about cultural, right? And so we got here, and Nathan said it right off the bat, hallelujah. He's building up his vocabulary. That's Zaqan. That's the first word here, right? And it's remember, right? Remember, this is pretty easy to understand in English, right? Don't forget the day of rest, to keep it consecrated, right? So it's saying, Zakar, remember, Zakor. Zakar is the root. Zakar is the root word here. And literally the root means remember, don't forget. The call stem, the type of verb here in this form is Zakor. And it's a little bit more direct, and it boils down to remembrance. Remembrance. In other words, do something in observance of this day, which is Shabbat. All right. That's Zaqor. That's Zaqor. The root is Zakar, but in this form right here, it's Zaqor, and it's more of remembrance. There's something to do as remembering, in remembering. All right. And then the next we got is et yom, and normally that et, the very next word is the direct object. But we got that makif here. It's like a hyphen in English. The makif or maketh attaches these two together. So really it's one word. And what it's saying here is the direct object of yom is hashbat. All right. The yom here is the root, and it's translated in English as day, but literally it's a time period. It's literally a time period, a measure of time, right? And then when we get into verse 9, it gets more specific on that specific time period. But just keep that in mind. Remember what day? Ha-Shabbat. The ha right there is just basically translated in English is the Shabbat, right? And then we got Le Quadasho, right? And that in English, they got that as to keep it holy, right? So in essence, what this verse 8 is really saying is call to mind, remember, mark this day, the Shabbat, this day, the Shabbat, to Quadash, to make holy, to sanctify, to set apart. And it's this column at the end right here. The suffix really is, it's relating to the noun, it's pronominal, right? And so it's saying to set apart this Shabbat, really is what it's talking about. All right. So in English, it's pretty easy to understand. The translation is pretty accurate, but it's more of call to mind, don't forget, mark, signify this day of the Shabbat for the purpose of setting it apart, really, to be holy, sanctified. All right. Slika. Right. And then one more fact about the Shabbat here is we know this is commonly called rest, but literally it is an intermission. It's an intermission, right? As we'll see, there's something about this intermission. It's not just taking a day off, so to speak, right? It's not the simple just taking a day off and resting, right? There's something specific about this Shabbat. And then when we jump down to verse 9, we got here Shishet, right? And in English, they translated it as the sixth, or six, right? It says 6 days shalt thou labor, right? But this she is the root, which is 6, which is the name of the number. But they got it in this form, Shishet here, to indicate that it's an accumulation of days. Yamim here is the plural form of yom. Yom is the root. Yamim is plural, more than one day. So this form here they got here, Shishet, is an accumulation. That's important to remember, the accumulation of days. And that accumulation equals 6. That accumulation equals 6. It comes up to 6. And then, like I said, that Yamin is just the plural of day. So it's more than one day. This accumulation is more than one day. So really what it's saying is, it's not talking about specifically the 6th day. It's saying an accumulation of 6 days. Accumulation of 6 days. And then the next word here is they got it translated as thou shalt labor. Thou shalt labor, right? And the word here is ta'abod. Ta'abod, right? The root word is abad. The root word is abad. And abad literally means serve, which is key to remember, serve. They got it translated here as labor, which is pretty accurate. But the form here in the text is ta'abod. And it's imperfect. Don't worry too much about that, meaning that it is that this action, this serve, this labor is continuous or not complete. Thou shalt is really another interpretation because those words are not literally in the text. Thou shalt is not really in the text, right? The prefix te in front of that pertains to something or someone. And then it says, and do all thy work. This right here, and do. We have 2 actions here, do and work. And do in the Hebrew, wa ashita. Asa is the root word, and the root means perform, produce, make. It's a typical action, right? In the qual form. It's a typical action. The yita suffix is specific because this doing is directly related to something or someone. Keep that in mind. And then the next word here is the last word in this clause is all thy work. Call or coal is pertaining to it entirely, completely related to thy work, right? And so we got malak here, and I want to go into this malak taka. I want to go into this malak taka specifically. So let me know if you can see this. Sometimes when I switch screens, I have to stop sharing, go back to sharing. Can y'all see this?
Kane.
All right. Right. So we got Shishet, Yamin, Ta'abod, Wa Asita, Ko Malaktaka, right? And I want to go into this Malaktaka. This is key, right? We see here that Malacha is the root. Malacha is the root. And then that Teka is the same as that Te in front of do and labor. It's pertaining to something or something else. Keep that in mind, right? Here's what I want you to see. All right, it says, this is the phonetic. Melacha, right, is the root. Melachka is the word in the text, but melacha is the root, right? And it says it really is a child root. That melachtaka, the malacha in that is a child root. The parent root here is malach. Malach. And those that are in the language study, you know what malach is, right? I want to click on it and we'll come back out of it, right? Malach, right? The parent root, what that word work is related to is angel, messenger, ambassador, right? Is angel, messenger, or ambassador. That's the parent root where melacha is derived from, right? Here's what I want you to see. From an unused root meaning to dispatch as a deputy, a messenger specifically of the Most High, i.e. an angel, also a prophet, priest, or teacher, ambassador, angel, king, messenger. All right, let's go back. And this is where it ties in, right? The word here in the text is a variation of malacha, right? It just means your work. Malaktaka means your work, right? But let's look at this. Malacha, where malaktaka comes from, is from that same root, malak, malak, and it properly is deputyship, i.e. ministry, generally employment, but never servile, never servile. And servile really just means a job, your job. You go to work to receive a benefit, right? Produce something or do something, receive a benefit. That's servile, that's a job, that's a job. So now let's go back to what it's really talking about here. It's saying an accumulation of 6 days, you labor, you serve. In other words, you be a servant. And it's telling you here, do something. It's relating to someone or someone else. This doing a service, laboring, you're doing it in pertaining to someone or something, right? And then this all malaktaka, all your work, all your work. This work of yours is not your job. I want you to remember that. This work of yours is not for your gain. I pray this breakdown is informative. I know it's tedious, but there's a whole lot here in these 2 verses. And take note that there is a colon at the end. You see that colon at the end? That means this thought or this statement is not complete. There's more to it in order for it to be fully comprehended. Just take note of that. And I want to let's go to John, Yaqan chapter 9, to kind of seal this this thought here in verses 8 and 9. Let's go to John, Yaqan chapter 9, and we're going to start at verse 3. That's in the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament. Let's go to Yaqan, John chapter 9, and we're going to start at verse 3, and then I'll get to the close. And just a little background. Remember, this is where the man was born blind. He was born at birth, right? And Mashiach healed him. And so afterwards, his disciples are asking him, you know, well, since he was born at birth, since he was blind at birth, who was to blame for it? Who did something, his mother or his father, that cursed him to be blind at birth, right? And so Mashiach's answer was, starting at verse 3, Yahawadah answered, neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of the Most High should be made manifest in him. Verse 4, I must work the works of him that sent me. Let me read that again. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. Very powerful statement right there. And it's parabolic. It's a parable too, but it's very telling. And what I want you to get out of that is Mashiach is saying, I must work the works of him that sent me. As a light of the world. This work in Shemot or Exodus 20 is specific. It's not just your job that you do on a daily basis, your 9 to 5. It's specific. And if we're Mashiachiim, commonly called Christians, followers of Mashiach, or like Mashiach, then we do as he did. Well, let's go back to Exodus. It's on the screen. Let's go back to Shemot, and I'll close. And we're saying that this labor or serving pertains to something or someone. And I'm going to go to verse 10 here, and I'm just going to read that first clause to kind of tie it all up so far where we're at. This work that we are to do for 6 accumulated days. This work that we're supposed to do that pertains to someone or something that we're supposed to do for 6 accumulated days. And the first clause here in verse 10 kind of says it. Wayom hashabi'i Shabbat la Yaiqab Eloheka. Right? And it's saying, but this day, this 7th day, is the Shabbat of Yah, our Elohim. It is the Shabbat of Yah, our Elohim. Think about that powerful statement. And I'll get to the close. Think about this powerful statement. This is the Shabbat of Yah, our Elohim. And for 6 days, accumulative days, there's work that we're supposed to be doing. And in the same time, we're supposed to remember, not forget, not let it get out of our mind that the Shabbat of Yah is to be set apart, separated from the rest of the days, made special from the rest of the days, sanctified for a specific purpose. So this Shabbat commandment is so vital to our way of life. It's not just a holy day of rest for us. It is set apart. It is a holy day of rest, Shabbat. But it's a sign or a mark or a seal of belonging to our Elohim. Moreh Samak has done an Gadol Tov job at how important the Shabbat is to our culture. It literally ties us, links us, connects us, reminds us that we are the Most High. Yisrael is the Most High. And then in those requirements of Yisrael, right? What does Yah, our Elohim, require of us? And one of those requirements was to keep the commandments of Yah, our Elohim, for our good, and to serve Yah with all our heart and with all our soul. Mishpachah, I know this may be tedious and even boring, but remember, we're trying to reconnect to our culture, our way of life, and we're using the words of another culture from their perspective based on how they see the world. And we gotta labor. We gotta labor. Those that are zealous, we gotta labor if we want that zeal to be filled with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the truth. I pray that this long breakdown was edifying and feeds our zeal with knowledge, or at least get us to start thinking about Shabbat Now, Most High willing, next Shabbat, we're going to pick up right there at 10, and we're going to go a little bit more into it. And then hopefully by the time we get done with verse 11, we will truly understand the importance of the Shabbat. This Shabbat, right? Because there's more Shabbats. We have a Shabbat of the land, you know, every 7 years, we got to let the land rest. And then 3 of our feast days have Shabbat. They are Shabbats, but they're not the same Shabbat as this particular one that the Most High is feeding us with, building our culture, our way of life with. Hallelujah. I yield, more.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. All praise, honor, esteem be to the Most High. Toda for the presentations, Zaqan. Toda, and to the Hebrew students as well. Great reading. Way to institute that today in your lesson, Elder. At this time, I'm going to yield the floor to Adon Kanaka for his 2-minute warning.